What's up guys, Justin here for S&S Archery. In today's gear video, we're going to be looking at a new product from Spot Hogg. This has to do with the scope housing mounting up to the actual body of the sight. So in this video, we're going to go over the quick disconnect assembly, show you the old mount versus the new. Alright guys, to really show you the new quick disconnect assembly, the hardware, what I've done is I've taken off the existing scope housings off the sight bodies. That way you can really get a view of the old bracket style, the third axis adapter, your single and double pin mount, and compare it to this new quick disconnect assembly. So taking a look at the existing mounting system for the multi-pin and the triple stack, we had our third axis adapter bracket here with this L-shaped bracket. It kind of reminded me of the game Tetris. The way this mounting system worked, kind of funny, but basically these two shapes would meet up, and this is how we were going to get our left and right adjustment. So if you're pretty close to being centered up, didn't have a whole extreme amount of left or right, you could run the bracket like this. You could move it out front for some more left adjustment. It was kind of almost confusing to me, trying to figure out all the different mount positions. I mean, the system did work, don't get me wrong. Just thought it was kind of funny. It reminded me of the game Tetris, and then the way it actually mounted up to your scope housing. As far as your single pin, double pin mount, this is it here. So it would mount directly on that third axis part of the sight. And then you can see here we have basically that open hole there for the scope housing. So this was a fairly simple system, had a ton of adjustment for your left and right. If you were a single double pin user and you wanted to upgrade, say, to that triple stack or multi-pin housing, this no longer works. So you had to purchase this new kit, the third axis adapter. All right, so taking a look at the new quick disconnect assembly, some of the parts and how it works. This is going to be for the multi-pin and triple stack. You have two pieces on this bracketing system. So we have this 6-hole spacer, you can see there, and then we have the third axis block. So this is the part that's going to mount up directly to your sight. You have the two pins here, and the 6-hole spacer just drops right in place. Then you have one screw that drops right in to mount this up. With this system, you always want to have two of these holes pinned in order for it to, not pivot on you. But this bracket's really nice. Gives you a ton of adjustment, very easy to make easy adjustments on the fly when you're sighting this in. As far as your single and double pin, you're going to have the same system. However, the only thing you're adding is the single and double pin mount. So this new mount here is going to attach directly to our scope housing. So single and double pin. It's going to mount on here, basically where that rod was, and it's going to mount right to the front of that 6-hole spacer. And what's nice is if you were the double pin owner, you had this set up already, you want to switch to that triple stack multi-pin housing, you already have the bracketing system moving forward. If you do have this original bar, this does thread out. I actually thread this one out, so there's an Allen inside here. This will pull apart from the housing itself, and then that new mount will connect right to it. So what we'll do now is we'll go ahead and mount both these up so you guys can get a look at what they're going to look like. The first sight that I'm going to put the quick disconnect on is going to be the single and double pin setup. So here's my body of my sight on a Fast Steady XL, and here's the double pin housing. 6-hole spacer, third axis block, and our single and double pin mount. So the first thing you want to do is you want to take that spacer off the block itself. You're going to grab two of these screws. These will be provided in this bracketing system, and you're going to just mount this up. This is where your third axis adjustment is. So as you tighten, it's going to put a little bit of lean in your scope. So just go ahead and leave it just snug for now. Don't need to reef on it. You can see here this bracket is shaped down. This is the way we want it to go. And the next thing you're going to do is take your 6-hole spacer and you're just going to drop it in place. Now this is the nice part. So you don't, with Spot Hogg, you don't have a whole bunch of left and right adjustment on the body of the sight. This is where our micro adjustment is. So you can see that travels very small. So when you're sighting this in, you know, play around with this. Get as close to center with this body being centered as you can with this body being centered. That way when you are fine tuning it, you know, this body is not maxed over to one side. So you have a lot of adjustment. Next thing I'm going to do, washer in this one and a screw. Like I said, these are all going to be provided in your little kit that you're going to get. Next, you're going to drop this down, tighten this right into your 6-hole spacer. Okay, now that's done, for now, I'm going to take the double pin housing and I'm going to take the single pin, double pin mount. Go ahead and put it together. You really want to tighten this one up. It's going to get, you know, fairly snug on you, but you want to take this all the way until that screw absolutely maxes out. Another thing to note within these kits is you are going to get some instructions with them. They're pretty detailed. That's kind of how I learned everything I know about this new mount system. So you definitely can follow along pretty easy. So the last thing you're going to do is mount this up. So you have the last 2 screws. You're just going to feed them through the back side of that 6-hole spacer bracket. Tighten them on. So as you can see there, that is the new mount system. Got it all set up, single and double pin. And like I said, as you're making adjustments, you know, what's really nice about this is if I'm shooting way left, I need to move my sight over to the left. Just pull out this main screw here on the top of that 6-hole spacer, and then I can flip over that housing. As long as I have the 2 pins connected, I can re-put that back into place. So that is a single and double pin. I will do it for the multi-pin real quick. So out with the old 3rd axis adapter, in with the new 6-hole spacer and 3rd axis block. Tighten that up, drop your 6-hole spacer into place. Grab your multi-pin housing. Just make sure your pins are the right direction. So this is actually the triple stack here. And then feed in your screws to the housing. Quick disconnect assembly. So a very easy system. I really like it. Moving forward, I think they definitely nailed it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to email us, give us a call. If you guys have found this video to be useful in any way, please hit subscribe to follow us along on more gear, hunting, and review videos. Thanks, guys.